In nature, predators cut off their prey from the pack, leaving them vulnerable, easy to attack. Modern society values independence, the strength to stand on our own, to make our own way. Forfeiting not only the comfort of home, but the bonds of family and community.
Gus, come on, bring it back!
But in our isolation, we become weak. Perfect victims.
Gus! Gus, where are you?
Thanks for taking the time to see us, Dr. Shields.
I was surprised to get your call. The press doesn't usually take an interest in an accidental death.
Well, that's our question, whether the death of this woman, Jennifer Owens, was, in fact, an accident.
The decedent's body was severely decomposed and suffered significant post-mortem predation, but that was my conclusion, yes.
Based on the bruise on her head.
A contusion on her left temple, suggesting she fell, struck a rock, which knocked her unconscious.
So, in actuality, she died from
exposure. She never regained consciousness, as far as I can tell.
Any idea why she'd be in that part of the park? It's relatively isolated.
No, I generally leave questions like that for the detectives, but her car was found close by, her purse inside. Maybe she went for a walk?
In high heels.
As I say, that's a police matter.
This post-mortem predation.
Yes.
What about the predation on her face?
What about it?
Something ate through her nose deep into her brain cavity. That's pretty extreme, wouldn't you say?
I suppose so, yeah.
As I understand it, the bite signature doesn't match any species native to this area.
Where did you get that? I didn't put that in my report.
Is there a possibility this particular predation could have occurred before she died?
Possible, but I don't see any of the defensive wounds that would suggest she was attacked that way.
Thank you for your time, Doctor.
Of course.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Come here. Come on. Now, do you see what I mean?
I hate to tell you this, but your boss's answers seem pretty convincing.
That's why I called you. I can't exactly go around his back and call the cops.
So, what is it you think killed this woman?
I don't know exactly. But whatever it is, it's a mean-ass thing that chomps straight through her face and into her brain.
And you've been able to determine that, but the coroner in charge of the case hasn't because...
Because he lacks imagination.
Or maybe you have too much of it.
Look, all I'm saying is do your thing, ask questions, and you'll see that I'm right.
For a parent to outlive a child, it's not supposed to be. Every time I pack something in a box, it hits me again that she's never coming home.
Very sorry for your loss, Mrs. Owens.
Your daughter disappeared 2 weeks ago, ma'am. Have you any idea why she would have been in that park that day?
We spoke often, but she lived her own life. I couldn't tell you where she was on any given day.
Did she have a boyfriend or, someone who could give us an insight into why she was there?
Oh, she didn't date much. Too busy with her work, I guess.
She was a real estate agent, right?
Yes. Worked long hours, every weekend. Married to her job.
I understand.
You don't think this was an accident, do you?
Well, that's what we're trying to determine.
Well, I don't care what anybody says. I know it wasn't.
Why would you say that, Mrs. Owens?
This was taken the day she got her real estate license. See that? That necklace belonged to my grandmother. It was an antique. Jenny never took it off. It wasn't found on her body.
Have you told the police you think she was robbed?
Nothing else was taken. I keep thinking, if only I'd never given her the necklace, maybe she'd still be alive today. How do I look?
You look beautiful.
What's the matter?
Nothing. It's a long day.
Aaron, worrying ages you.
Yes. You're right.
You're such a good son. You always listen to your mother.
Where are you going?
Out.
Hello. Marlene, how do you stay so beautiful?
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Oh. Oh, Aaron, how are you?
I didn't know you had a date tonight, Mother.
A mother can still have secrets.
Where'd you get this?
It's lovely, isn't it? Don't wait up.
Hey, you wanted to see this?
Yes. I have to say I'm a little embarrassed.
About what?
Well, if it weren't for your questions, we may have not ever thought to look for it. It's very time-consuming because it has to be done the old-fashioned way by examining the entire body with a magnifying glass, believe it or not. These are close-ups of the victim's neck. We found a needle mark injected right into the center of a freckle.
Oh my God. It's incredible.
But then this was a homicide.
With a very careful killer. I notified the detectives. As I say, I'm embarrassed that I missed this.
You have any idea what she was injected with?
Nothing came up in her talk screen the first time around.
Well, how is that possible?
It could have been a drug that moved quickly through her system, an anesthetic, for example. I ordered full blood work. But I'd say this definitely rules out the bite to the face as the cause of death, Mr. Kolchak.
Why is that?
There are a lot of animals in Los Angeles, but as far as I know, none of them carry around a hypodermic needle.
Right.
But I'm curious, how did you two know to ask about this case in the first place?
A necklace was taken.
A necklace?
Yeah, the dead woman's mother thought maybe that was the reason she was killed.
What'd he say?
You were right. It was a homicide. He found a needle mark in her freckle.
He found a needle mark. No, I think you mean I found it. That's why I was trying to reach you this morning.
You found it.
Yeah, and it took me all night, too. Look, the only reason he called you is because I told him about it this morning.
Yeah, but it still doesn't make any sense.
What's that?
Well, the killer's so careful. He injects this woman in the center of her freckle to hide his crimes, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why be so careful if he's just gonna smash your head against a rock to kill her?
Exactly.
I don't know. But Dr. Shields is right. That wound to her face makes even less sense.
Look, I'm telling you, that's exactly what killed her, not this bump on her head that Dr. Credit Grabber is telling you about.
Marlene? Hello? Anybody home?
Door's open. I'm just getting ready.
Mind if I mix myself a drink?
Help yourself.
Marlene,
Yes?
I don't think your son likes me much.
What makes you say that?
He never seems too happy to see me.
Parents protect you, that's all. He likes to take care of you. I'm sure the more time you spend together, the more he'll like you. You just wait and see.
Are you all right?
Fine.
How do I look?
Amazing. Like you always do.
Beautiful. I've got to be quick. I've got to work this afternoon. I forgot my necklace. I'll be right back.
She's a pretty woman.
She had a birthday coming up. Same as mine.
It's not fair to die so young.
No, it isn't. You got anything?
I've been on the phone with every zoologist and biologist in Southern California.
Kolchak, I thought you agreed that needle mark ruled out an animal attack.
I do, but, I'm wondering why an animal would eat into her flesh that way.
Why? Well, how about because it was hungry?
It chewed through her cartilage and bone, eating into her brain.
So you're saying if it was that hungry, why go to all the trouble?
And if it wanted to kill, why kill that way?
You ask the most interesting questions, you know that, Kolchak?
What do you got?
Well, I've spoken with most of her friends. No one had talked to her in days.
What about at her office?
She was a real estate agent, so she would have been showing houses on Saturday, but I've yet to locate her supervisor.
Hey, guys. I got something.
Where are you taking us?
This is the Beacon's old research morgue.
I forgot this place even existed. It's all the old newspaper files pre-1980.
Yeah, I like to come down here and look around, which is how I found it. Or rather, Titus did.
Who's Titus?
Speaking.
Titus Berry. This is Carl Kolchak.
Hi.
And Perry Reed.
Jane said you found something.
Yeah, I was telling Titus about your story. About the woman whose face was bitten through.
Well, you know something about that.
Let the others scurry about, gathering their contemporary bits of gossip. Research. That is where the joy lies, and the fascination.
What did you find, Mr. Berry?
Oh, the impatience of youth. I have found something which you would never find on the internet or the World Wide Web, where historical events are erased from memory if no one is there to record them digitally.
Your point being?
This crime, it's happened before.
I remembered it the moment Jane described it to me.
When before?
November 17th, 1970.
1970?
Lois Arletta. Her body was dumped in Topanga Canyon Park after disappearance 3 weeks earlier.
That sounds a little like the death we're investigating, Titus.
It's exactly like it, Miss Reed. Jane said something ate through a woman's nose and face into her brain.
So you're telling me the same thing happened 35 years ago as well?
The coroner's office stated the damage done to the victim's face was most likely the result of...
Animal predation.
The police investigate?
Yes, they did. The investigating officer is listed as Detective Collins.
And he never determined who or what killed this woman?
No, not her. Not any of them.
Any of them?
This woman was only the first.
There were 2 other victims besides Miss Arletta. Their bodies were found a few days later. All 3 of these women were killed the same way. Los Angeles history. Remember it or be doomed to repeat it.
Where have you been?
Aaron, why aren't you at work?
I left early.
What on earth for?
The police are investigating the death of Jennifer Owens.
How did that happen?
One of the assistants found a needle mark on her body. I've had to order blood work.
Okay, sit up.
2 reporters know about it. I tried to throw them off, but they know things.
Like what?
Like her necklace is missing.
You think this is her necklace?
Don't lie to me, Mother.
Watch your tone, young man. I'm older than you, and much wiser.
No, I know that.
You just need to trust me. I'm going to take care of everything. We are so close now.
Is it worth it, Mother?
You're asking me if it's worth having more time together. Of course it is. Oh, of course it is, darling.
Hello? Hello? Can I help you?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to start.
No, I'm fine. Marlene Harmon?
Yeah, I was just outside. Lovely home, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not a client. I'm a reporter. I'm Perry Reed. I'm with the Los Angeles Beacon.
Oh, a reporter.
Yeah, I'm writing a story about Jennifer Owens. You were her supervisor, weren't you, Mrs. Harmon?
It's Miss. Yes, I was.
We think someone may have killed her.
Oh, my God.
Were you aware of anyone who disturbed her, threatened her?
No.
Well, it might have been an older man.
So there is a suspect.
Not exactly. We're following kind of a hunch. Bit of a long shot, actually.
I see. I've always thought it's so dangerous being a pretty young woman like she was, showing these houses to strangers, all alone.
You think it might have been a client?
Anything could happen in one of these empty houses. And no one would be around to help.
I don't suppose you'd allow me to review her calendar or her client list.
No, I can't do that. Not to a reporter, I'm sorry.
Oh, of course. No, I understand. Here's my card. My home number's written on the back. If you can think of anything at all, please call.
I hope you won't find it inappropriate, but I just have to say, you're such a beautiful girl.
Thank you.
Such amazing skin. What I wouldn't give to be your age again. It's all so fleeting, you know.
Yes, I suppose it is.
Oh. Are you the realtor?
I'm coming. Excuse me. Please.
Detective Collins.
Detective retired. You the reporter they called?
Carl Kolchak.
You want to know about this case from 35 years ago?
Well, if you remember any details about it, anything that wouldn't have been in the paper.
Kind of hard to forget it. 3 women, faces disfigured, their bodies dumped in the public parks.
Now, the newspaper accounts say the case was never closed.
Body dumps are the hardest. Not knowing where somebody died makes it much tougher.
Did you ever determine the manner of death?
Mr. Kolchak, I probably investigated over 200 homicides in my career. None of them gave me nightmares like this one.
Why, because of the violence?
Because of the suffering. Those girls had needle marks on their bodies.
They were injected with an anesthetic.
Paralyzed, but awake, helpless. They died a slow, terrible death. Never even had a chance to cry out for help.
And you never identified any suspects?
I said the case was never closed, but I'm pretty damn sure I know who did it.
Well, who was it?
A doctor by the name of Luke Russell. He'd stolen anesthetics from the hospital where he worked.
And then why didn't you arrest him?
We never got the chance. Shot himself in the face with a 9mm handgun.
He's dead? Are you sure?
Couldn't be much more sure.
Well, you're certain he was the killer?
Well, the killing stopped after we found his body. Mr. Kolchak, why are you so interested in this case?
Because another woman died the same way recently. I thought maybe the same killer was back.
After 35 years. Well, I'll tell you this. If the same guy's going around killing young girls at his age, he's got a hell of a lot more energy than I do.
Thanks.
Get anything yet?
The detective from the 1970s case thinks the killer killed himself 35 years ago. How about you?
Another dead end.
I got something.
What is it?
A burning desire compelled me to look further back into our files to see if there were any deaths that were similar to those in 1970.
1935? You gotta be kidding me.
See for yourself.
3 women, victims of wild animal attacks. The flesh on their faces consumed.
All unmarried, all young.
Fascinating, isn't it?
It's weird. 2005 to 1970 is 35 years. 1970 to 1935, that's
35 years.
That is very observant, Mr. Kolchak. I had not noticed that myself.
I know what you're thinking, Carl.
Let's take a look. March 1st, 1900.
3 ladies living alone in the West Adams district.
Attacked onto their faces. Wow, that can't be a coincidence, can it?
Want to go for 1865?
The Beacon didn't start publishing until 1898.
Let's give this notion of yours benefit of the doubt. First murder occurs 1900.
Right.
When this man would be, let's be conservative here, 10.
Right.
So he'd be 115 years old now. Going around killing women in his walker.
Hey, thanks for obtaining the exhumation order, Detective.
Consider it a favor to Detective Collins. He's an old friend of mine.
I'm not understanding your interest in this man, Luke Russell, Mr. Kolchak.
I think he may have been involved in murders similar to Jennifer Owens's back in 1970.
That was 35 years ago.
That's right.
Well, how could he be connected to the most recent death if he's dead?
If he's dead.
I can confirm unequivocally this man is indeed dead.
Yeah. I'm sorry for wasting your time, Detective.
No apology necessary.
No, wait a minute. Excuse me. Look at that.
What?
The entrance wound.
What about it?
Well, there should be contact burns, shouldn't there?
Well, there should be, yes. Maybe there were, they just faded with age.
Yeah, but that wound, I would say it's circular, not star-shaped.
It's hard to say, given the condition of the body.
What does it mean?
The original autopsy might have been wrong. This man may not have been shot at contact or even near contact range.
So he didn't kill himself?
No. He may have been murdered. Excuse me.
Gin.
You win again.
I don't like losing.
Marlene, I know your secret. Yesterday, I saw you getting dressed. I saw how you cover up. That's makeup on the back of your hand, isn't it? Look, what I'm saying is, you don't need high collars or long sleeves. Not for me. You're a beautiful woman, Marlene.
I don't want you to leave here. Ever.
Jane told me the suspect from 35 years ago didn't kill himself after all. He was murdered.
Possibly by the real killer.
How does that work?
Well, the detective said Dr. Russell stole anesthetics the killer used to immobilize his victims.
He immobilized him?
Yeah, remember what Dr. Shields said about Jennifer Owens not having any defensive wounds?
Right.
Well, that's because she couldn't fight back. Because the killer paralyzed her with an anesthetic.
So the killer got the drugs he needed from this doctor, and then when the police closed in?
He killed the doctor, made it look like a suicide, so they thought they found their man. You going home?
My parents are bringing over dinner.
Well, that's nice. They live in town?
I don't see him as much as I should, but there's something about this story, you know?
understand. See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Kolchak, it's Nivy. You gotta get back down here now. Jane Doe, her body found by a horse trail rider in Griffith Park a month ago.
Is that a woman?
What's left of her?
Yeah, her face is missing.
Look, I'm never gonna be able to find a needle mark to prove it, but you gotta believe me.
No, I believe you. If she's been here a month, how come you're only finding out about her now?
A clerical error. Somebody misfiled her case. But if I'm right, it means Jennifer Owens wasn't the first victim. She was the second.
It's 2 down, 1 to go.
Aaron, where have you been?
Driving?
You late for dinner? You didn't even call?
I, performed an autopsy today.
You perform autopsies every day.
On Luke.
Luke. How did that happen?
These reporters, they know he's involved. They just don't know how.
Well then, that's fine.
You told me he killed himself. You killed him. He did everything you said his whole life, and then you killed him. Just like you're gonna kill me.
No. I did lie to you. To protect you. Your brother was not like you. He was not as strong, as devoted. The police kept asking questions, just like these reporters are doing now. He would have told them everything. He would have ruined everything.
So you shot him? And made it look like he killed himself?
And the police stopped asking questions. They closed the case. If I hadn't done what I did, I would not be here now. You would not be here now.
These reporters, they're not gonna stop asking questions.
They think an old man is responsible. And an old man was. I made sure of it.
What have you done?
I told you before. I'm older and wiser. Everything's going to be just fine. You'll see. My love.
Hello, sweetheart. Let me just put these in the kitchen.
Hey, baby doll.
This place doesn't usually do takeout, but your father insisted.
Well, for us, they should. The hospital board eats there every week.
Really is excellent Italian food. Fantastic osso buco.
So, what's going on?
What do you mean?
You invited us over for dinner on a weeknight? When was the last time she did that, honey?
Never, I think.
I just wanted to see you guys, that's all. I guess it's just a story I've been writing. It's about these women who've been killed. Makes me realize how lucky I am and vulnerable. How easily it can all be taken away from you.
So who killed the women?
We don't know. But they died terrible deaths, Dad. I mean, something bit through their faces into their brains.
Nice dinner talk.
Every one of these women, the killer consumed their brain matter?
Apparently, yeah.
Must we continue talking about this over dinner?
It's kind of strange, though, isn't it? What part of the brain?
I don't know what it's called, but it's right here. Make any sense to you?
Only if it's not the brain he's after.
What else could it be?
Could be the pituitary gland.
What's that do?
It's sometimes called the master gland. It's the size of a pea. Highly prized in some Asian cultures.
What for?
It controls every other gland in the endocrine system. Growth, sex, aging. The myth is that if it's consumed from a live animal, it'll prolong life.
You're talking about cultures that eat the glands of animals.
That's right, but in this case, who knows? I've heard of stranger.
So have I. Excuse me. Hello?
Miss Reed, it's Marlene Harmon. I'm sorry to call so late.
No, it's all right. How can I help you?
I think I have some information about Jennifer Owen's death you might be interested in.
What kind of information?
Can you come over right now? I'd like to speak to you. In strictest confidence.
Here's her admitting file. So what are you looking for?
You said someone misfiled her case.
Yeah, it did.
I want to know who.
Wait a minute, you don't think that...
Dr. Aaron Shields ruled her death accidental. The chew marks on the face, post-mortem predation.
Just like Jennifer Owens.
You were right, Alex, right from the start.
You think Shields has been covering up?
Yeah, for the real killer. No doubt supplying the anesthetics he needs, just like Dr. Russell 35 years ago.
Can't believe it. Who are you calling?
Hi, is Perry there? Do you know where she's gone? Oh. Can you just tell her Carl Kolchak's trying to reach her? Okay, thanks.
What?
Perry. Her parents said she had to leave for a story.
You think it's this story?
Well, she didn't say. Hey, do you have Dr. Shields' home address?
I'll get it.
Thank you for coming.
Of course. Dr. Shields?
Hello.
What are you doing here?
No more questions, dear.
You're just gonna let this happen?
You okay? It's gonna be okay. I'm right here. The past has endless stories about tragedies that have struck those who've come before us, a history of tears. But nature remains indifferent to our suffering, offering only a cold, hard truth, one that becomes harder to bear the more we learn to love living. That at the very moment life first pumps through our veins, the clock is set to stop.